Welcome to SOS Media, your number one source of the latest news, opinions, and in-depth investigations that dig deeper into today's developing stories around the globe. An investigation into Tupac Shakur's unsolved killing has been revived after it took roughly 3 decades of uncertainty and hesitation. Now, a new twist came when authorities in Nevada served a search warrant in connection with the rap star's shooting death, and barely 2 days after more details had emerged about the home that was searched, which public records show is tied to a man whose nephew emerged as a suspect shortly after Tupac's killing. The man at the center stage, Dwayne Davis, is the uncle of Orlando Anderson, one of Shakur's known rivals who authorities have long suspected in the rapper's death. Anderson denied involvement in Shakur's killing at the time and died 2 years later in an unrelated gang shooting in Compton, California. Tupac Shakur's death came amid his feud with rap rival the Notorious B I G, who was fatally shot 6 months later. At the time, both rappers were in the middle of the infamous East Coast-West Coast rivalry, which primarily defined the hip-hop scene during the mid-1990s. The feud was ignited further after Tupac was seriously wounded in another shooting during a robbery in the lobby of a Midtown Manhattan hotel in 1994. He was shot several times and lost $40,000. Tupac Shakur openly accused Notorious B I G and Sean Diddy Combs of having prior knowledge of the shooting, but both vehemently denied the accusation. The shooting sparked enough of a feud that created a serious divide within the hip-hop community and fans. The New York-born Shakur represented the West Coast after he signed with the Los Angeles-based Death Row Records. He often traded verbal jabs with New York natives B I G and Diddy, who hailed from the East Coast while representing New York City-based Bad Boy Records. The alleged P Diddy involvement in Tupac's death took shape after Biggie Small's mother, Voletta Wallace, sued the Los Angeles Police Department for an estimated sum of $500 million based on the popular conspiracy theory that the police covered up the death of her son. The case was subsequently reopened in 2006 and handed over to the Los Angeles Police Department's Detective Greg Karding, who claimed the deaths of the Notorious B I G and Tupac were related, for he found out new information linking both cases during the investigation of Biggie's death. Detective Greg Karding came to the conclusion that Sean Puff Daddy Combs had put a $1 million hit on both Tupac Shakur and Suge Knight, following the highly publicized rap beef involving himself and Biggie. Karding claims the music mogul had close gang ties in Los Angeles and hired Crips member Dwayne Keefe D Davis to carry out the hit. The question about who pulled the trigger on Tupac always causes confusion, but Karding claims that Tupac was killed by Crips gang member Orlando "Baby" Lane Anderson. He alleges that the original hit was supposed to be carried out by Keefe D, but plans were changed at the last minute, after they unexpectedly pulled up on the wrong side of Tupac's vehicle. So Keefe's nephew carried out the hit instead, killing Tupac and injuring Suge Knight. Interestingly, Baby Lane also got into a fistfight with Pac at a Vegas casino hours before the shooting took place. Another school of thought suggests that Biggie Small's then-wife Faith Evans allegedly knew about P Diddy's plot to kill Tupac. After the West Coast rapper was murdered, Keefe D claims that he contacted Diddy and Evans to let them know they were responsible for the death. One would also be right to believe the investigations detail that Biggie did not play any part in the murder of Tupac despite their well-documented rap beef. He says that B I G was not aware of Diddy's plans to kill both Shakur and his manager Suge Knight. After Tupac died and Suge narrowly avoiding death during the murder, it's alleged that the then-angry Death Row Records boss Suge Knight paid a hitman to kill Biggie Smalls. He allegedly retaliated by hiring a Bloods gang member to kill the Notorious B I G. The hitman shot and killed Biggie after he was traveling home from a party thrown by Vibe magazine. Bloods gang member Wardell Poochie Faust allegedly murdered Biggie after being paid $13,000 by Suge Knight. According to Karding, Poochie attended the same party as Biggie and fired shots at his car as they attempted to leave. Biggie also later died on the way to the hospital. According to Karding, the investigation was abandoned despite the in-depth investigation because the Los Angeles Police Department was able to beat the $500 million case posed by Biggie's mother Voletta Wallace. In the year 2009, Karding was then removed from the task force due to a separate internal affairs investigation. Although he was cleared of any charges, some people still view the retired detective as a rouge cop. Both Orlando Anderson Baby Lane and Wardell Faust Pucci have reportedly died of apparent unrelated causes. So even if the claims made were true, the men who were allegedly directly responsible for the murders of Tupac and Biggie are no longer here to face punishment. But now, media mogul P Diddy has once again found himself caught up in the messy controversy around the unsolved murder of iconic rapper Tupac Shakur. A few days after the house search, Keefe spoke on how he first met Diddy, who is alleged to have ordered the hit on Tupac, and how he regrets ever crossing paths with him. "If I wouldn't have ever met him, I wouldn't have ever been involved in this," he revealed. Keefe D isn't happy that his name is being cited around whenever people talk about Tupac's murder, and he's now blaming Diddy for ultimately being fingered as an alleged suspect. Davis also placed some of the blame for his empire and the downfall of Death Row Records on Diddy. "It really crashed two people's empire in one night, mine and Suge's too. Diddy is the only one still out there," he lamentably remarked. The 25-year-old Tupac was traveling in a black BMW driven by Death Row Records founder Marion Suge Knight in a convoy of about 10 cars, apparently headed to a nightclub after watching Mike Tyson knock out Bruce Seldon in a championship fight at the MGM Grand. After the fight, Shakur, Knight and associates had gotten involved in a fight at the hotel. Then, while driving down the Las Vegas Strip, a white Cadillac with 4 men inside pulled alongside the BMW as it was stopped at a red light. One person in the Cadillac opened fire, riddling the passenger side of Knight's car with bullets. Sitting in the passenger seat, Shakur was shot 4 times and at least twice in the chest, while Knight was grazed by a bullet fragment or shrapnel from the car. Shakur was then rushed to a hospital, from where he unfortunately died 6 days later. Meanwhile, for all of us who have been waiting to have a glimpse at the contents of the federal government's reply to R. Kelly's Illinois appeal brief, we'll now have to wait for another extra few days to do so, because the government was been granted another 1-month extension. This development means that she'll have to wait till the 31st of October 2023 and the reply brief by the appellant, if any, by November 21, 2023. This is according to the United States Court of Appeal, Northern District of Illinois Eastern Division, the Court of Appeal for the 7th Circuit. As we continue to witness more new developments occurring during R. Kelly's appeal proceedings, we can just stay optimistic that this time this relevant truth will be put into consideration. We believe R. Kelly and his legal team will be able to outline all the injustices, misinterpretations of the law, cases of lying and witness tampering that have marred all R. Kelly's legal proceedings, and that the law, truth and justice will this time along prevail. It has been a long wait, and we can't wait any longer to see R. Kelly regain his deserved freedom. Thank you for watching today's video, brought to you by SOS Media. If you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, please subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you never miss any of our videos. Also remember to leave your comment about today's topic in the comment section below.